My America, the 1920s and today. So for the arts and literature section, I picked The Great Gatsby because it was a big book of their time, and even today it's like thought of as a reflection. So I'm guessing as when in their time it was like a very big book and it's very popular. And then for present day I chose Harry Potter because everyone pretty much knows Harry Potter, and it's a big series that's talked about, and it's gonna be like talked about in the future, and it's just very like visual for present day. For technology, I chose the radio because in the 1920s it was like very big, and it had just come out and everyone was gathering around it and listening to it, and everyone wanted to be around the radio, and that's when everything started coming together and the countries came together because people could listen to things happening nationwide. And for present day I chose the iPhone because everyone has an iPhone and everyone tries to go get the iPhone. As soon as it comes out, it's like very big and you can connect with other iPhones, and people just use it as a mean of communication, and you have it, everyone has it, everyone wants one. As a teen, I know I love it, and all my friends have it, and it's an easy way to communicate and connect. For sports, I chose Babe Ruth because he was a very famous baseball player, and a lot of people looked up to him as a role model, and he was just like a very famous baseball player for all his home runs, and he was very influential in the sports and commercialization of everything in that time. And then for present day, I chose Eli Manning because the Giants are really big and they're winning the Super Bowls and things like that, and also kids look up to him. Everyone wears his jerseys, and he's a quarterback, so he's the most valuable player, and he's just known, and he's always bringing the teams to victory. So like when I think of sports and I think of like what's going on, I think of like the Giants playing and Eli Manning leading them to victory. For Hollywood actresses and actors, I chose Jobina Ralston. She was very famous back then. She played in over 20 movies, and she was just a very famous actress. And I'm sure a lot of girls looked up to her because she was in all the movies, and the guys looked at her, and like she seemed very pretty, and I'm sure she seems to be a very big actress of the time, and like very looked into. And then for present day, I chose George Clooney because, what is George Clooney not in? Like, he's in everything, and I think back to him like, oh, like, George Clooney's in movies, and I know, like everyone knows the name George Clooney. He's not very, like, young, but he's definitely, like, he's there, and he is in it right now, and, yeah. His movies speak for themselves. For music, I chose Louis Armstrong, and he was really famous in jazz, and with the whole Harlem Renaissance going on, he was very popular. So I guess a lot of people would look at him, and that's what you envision when you think of it, because he was so popular for that time. And the whole jazz era and everything coming about. I chose for present day One Direction because everyone knows One Direction. They're the biggest boy band in the world right now. And when you think of music, you think of what's on the radio, and they're topping the charts, and they're just everywhere. So I know all the teenagers like swoon, so when you think of that, you just think of the boys and how popular they're getting right now, because the music genre is just going up so much and everyone's listening to music. For fashion, I chose, for the 1920s, I have a picture of the Flapper Girls, because although it wasn't everyone, it was a big thing about how like feminine, and they were like redesigning their whole entire look and dresses and the way they dressed and the way they acted, and they would go out, and it was just like a very big thing for their time. It was really like coming alive at the time, so that's what you think of. And then now for present day, I chose a picture of Vogue magazine because that's probably one of the biggest fashion magazines you can get, and it's what you think about when you're looking for the latest trends and you're looking to what's going on right now, like with fashion, or if you want to stay into it, like that's what you look for, is you look at Vogue and you're like, oh, that's what's in, oh, I gotta go get that. So that's why I chose that. For advertising, I found a picture of, I guess, a chocolate ad, and it's like a little girl, and the slogan is "Delight in every bite" for the 1920s, and I guess that was a very big commercial advertisement, and people went and bought it out because, like, see the advertisement and you get it, and it seemed to be a very big role in, like, a very big advertisement going on. And then for present day, I chose a picture of the little Coca-Cola guy, like the little polar bear, because that's all you see. That's like, you see like the little commercial, and then he does these cute little antics, and he's trying to get the Coca-Cola, and he finally grabs it, and after it slipped out of his hands 100 times, and he opens it up, and it's like heaven. So that's what I think of when I think of the advertisement, because he's about to get it, and then he finally does, and it's like, oh, I want to go get a Coke. Like, that sounds like so cute, and it's just like so refreshing. For heroes, I chose a picture of Charles Lindbergh, and he was the guy who flew across the Atlantic, and he was the first guy, and that was a big thing for him, and a big thing for everyone, because no one had ever done it, and he finally did it, and he stripped off of his plane, and he was able to fly over, and it was such a big thing, and he was welcomed, and everyone was so excited and happy, and he was just like, everyone was looking up to him because he had created this thing that potentially no one else could. So thinking about it, it was just like, oh, like, people must have looked up to him because he was able to do that while no one else was able to. And then I chose a picture of, for present day, Oprah Winfrey, because, well, she's just like iconic. She's with every charity, she has the shows, the magazines, she has her own channel. She's Oprah, everyone knows her name. She creates miracles for people, and she's just life-changing in a lot of ways for so many people nowadays. So I just think that, like, when I think of a hero, I think of someone who changes lives, and Oprah nowadays really does that for people who ordinarily could never. So yeah, that's the 1920s.